from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I am joined once again by my beautiful wife, Smokin Nicole. It is yet another Thursday night. It's another show. It's another cigar. Getting towards the end of the summer. But, you know, we still have a few more weeks left of good cigar weather outside. We have with us, as always, we have a guest, a lovely guest, fantastic guest, a sister of the leaf. That's something that we should be doing more of. But we have one tonight, which is awesome. And you may have heard of Graycliff Cigars, but maybe you haven't heard of Boss of the Block. But we're going to talk about it. Welcoming to the show is the multi-talented Pila Kangri. Pila, welcome to the show.
Hey, you make me feel like I was gonna get a Grammy or something. What's up, Matthew? What's up, Smokin Nicole?
Don't you now? I was reading earlier. Don't you have a Grammy? Do you have a Latin Grammy? Is that what, or multiple?
No, not yet, not
Oh,
yet.
okay. I thought I read that
I-
somewhere.
I'm a Latin Grammy member, and I'm a member also of the Recording Academy. That's how you
That's
start. You become a member. That's how you go. But I think next year's looking really good for me, actually.
well, that's awesome. Living the
Yeah,
dream,
man.
right? Living the dream.
100%, 100%.
So, you're not smoking with us tonight. As the guest, I'd ask you first, but I don't think you're smoking with us.
No, I'm in my recording studio. If you can see the sponges.
Oh, okay. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So we're not allowed to smoke in here.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
No,
So
not at all.
that's okay. So you can sit that one out. It's all good. We're gonna smoke for you. I am smoking
Yes.
the timeless limited edition 10th anniversary or the 10-year cigar from Ferio Tego. And Nicole, what are you
Oh
smoking?
my.
I'm smoking the Manolo Quesada 75th.
Ooh, okay. That cigar also just came out at the trade show. These are
Yep.
two new cigars for this year. Been smoking a lot of new stuff lately.
Trying to.
Trying to. Nicole has. So
That's what's
I've already gone through most of my show samples from the trade show, or the ones we got rather. Nicole is. I don't want to say just started, but she's got a nice big bag
I'm
over there.
behind on my samples. Sorry.
How
I
big
have
is your bag? Wow.
this is all new this year. I'm trying to smoke through it so I can speak to it, and so I have a lot of cigars to smoke.
She's got some catching up to do.
I do. I do.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So when you guys are all done with those, you'll get a shipment of Boss of the Block to try.
I'm very excited to try those. You know, I was doing a little bit of reading on it, and you know, I'm somewhat familiar with Graycliff Cigar Company. I haven't.
Hmm.
Actually, John Carney. Our audience knows John Carney. John Carney of La Flor Dominicana, who's also of the Smokin Tabacco Show. Actually, was down at Graycliff. He went on a trip earlier this year, and he actually stopped in there when he was down in the Bahamas. Took a cruise, and so he actually went in there. I think he had some of the cigars. I've met with them before at the show. I don't think I've ever had their cigars. I have never been to Graycliff, but it is on my list because it's definitely a little bit different than most of the factories, and it's something that I want to visit and check out. So I
You
was really
should. It's an experience.
yeah, so I was really excited to have you on the show because it was kind of a great way for us to not only talk about you, but talk about Graycliff and everything that you're doing with them, which is fantastic. So, but before we get into that, because and I know there's a lot there, but I do want to cover, obviously you're a DJ, you're in music, and that's kind of like your first claim to fame. How long have you been doing that?
Wow. I think. Well, I've been doing music since I was born. It's just something that's really it was innate in me, to sing and rap and the whole nine yards. And I started my own record company and then find my way to distribution. I'm giving you the short version, the short
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
And we released a song last year. Well, no, this year. It was January. I met with Graycliff. Is like the segue. I met with Graycliff in November of last year, and I released a video that they were a part of in January. Right now, the video's got, I think, worldwide streaming and everything. It's like 5 million views so far. and now we're
Wow.
finishing the album. And in between that, I am the resident DJ at a spot in the city called Bar 13. So you can catch me there every Friday and Saturday. And I fly back and forth to the Graycliff Sky Lounge in the Bahamas to DJ. Rough job. Someone has to
Yeah,
do it.
that's tough.
Yes, yes, yes. Super tough.
You get to
You
DJ
know.
in
So yeah,
paradise.
right. Music is my life, and that's what I've been blessed to do for a living. And I just finished an album, and the album should be out within the next few months. We're gonna fly out to the Bahamas to film the video. But yeah, I'm living the life, man. Being a DJ is, and being a female DJ is the greatest. Um, it's just I don't know. It's just dope. Just dope. Being a chick is dope.
Yeah, I feel like, especially within the cigar industry, right? And you were actually in attendance at was it the sixth roundtable that we recorded in Las Vegas for the Sisters of the Leaf global movement?
Right.
You were there. You were in that
Right.
video. You spoke. So you're definitely one of the. I don't like to use the term few, although I think at times it is perceived as the few Sisters of the
Right.
Leaf in the industry. Um,
Right.
so it's got to be, it's got to be great. And even in the DJ circuit and the DJ world industry, you know, like you said, being a female these days in a lot of industries, not just the cigar industry, it especially when you're successful and you go far and you have your own thing that you've created or your own business or your own reputation, whatever it is, it's a glass ceiling breaker for a lot of women because there was a long time when it was always a man's world, and now women
Right.
today are doing more, accomplishing more by themselves, without anyone else's
Exactly.
help. And I think that yeah, you are another great example of that. Just someone who's been able to do multiple things, right, and be a woman that stands proud in that. So it's really awesome to see that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a great experience because um if I were a guy, like if I were Puff Daddy, right? Puff Daddy does like a million things, right? He
Hmm.
makes clothes, he's a rapper, he's a manager, he's a mogul, he does all this stuff, and it's kind of it's okay. But when you're a girl doing that, it's like, well, you should really stick to one thing because, like focus just on one thing. What's it gonna be? But I took the initiative to do whatever I wanted to do and making my own lane. But I've got a good team too, so I have to thank them for helping me being able to achieve everything that I'm achieving. DJing is awesome. I meet people, and it works hand in hand with the cigar industry. You meet people, you talk, you shake hands, you kiss babies, and everything kind of works together.
Yeah, it's definitely a very social engagement or social atmosphere. I can on both sides of
Yes,
that. Um, and it is. I mean, it's like you said, it's a tough job. It's a very tough job to have. It's partying and smoking cigars is man. I wouldn't want that.
oh,
I wouldn't want that
and
job.
drinking scotch.
And
and,
drinking
and,
scotch,
and
yeah.
drinking scotch. Oh my God, what a job! And you know something at PCA, everybody was so beautiful to me. They were so. I think it's the hair. I think it's the vibe. I think it's the positivity that I just exude. And the DJing over there in Graycliff's booth, I think it took everybody kind of like, what's going on here? What is Graycliff doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, everybody. I mean, from everybody that I've met in the cigar industry that day was kind to me, like giving me advice and just open. It was great. It was awesome.
I saw you at PCA. We didn't get to meet with you guys at Graycliff. Our routine and our schedule at the trade show, as we've talked about before, kind of got messed up this year. So we were really behind. But um, like I said, we ran into a little bit at the Sisters of the Leaf meeting. But I did see you at the trade show. You
Mhm.
looked like a rock star. And I'm sure people were like, who's that? Like, this is cool. And then Graycliff, like, they're stepping up their game. I
Yeah, man.
usually it's Drew Estate. Drew Estate's got DJ Eli, at the booth at every trade show and every barn smoker and all the events. And now Graycliff's like, we're gonna bring our own DJ. So, Drew Estate didn't show up, so we made sure we brought a DJ. That's what's up, you know.
Yeah, and you got to give it to them because they are rich in tradition. They've been doing things a certain way for all this time, and to be open enough to have me around and to create this incredible cigar collection with me has been awesome. and we're going to do really big things next year. I mean, this is big, but we've got some great stuff planned for next year.
So how long have you been smoking cigars for?
Well, I'll give you a straight answer. I'm Cuban.
Oh,
There's
okay,
your
cool.
answer.
Well, there you go. That's you were born with it. Yeah.
I was born with with a bottle with coffee with 7 sugars in it, and
Yep.
a cigar in the other hand.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the answer.
That's in your
Yeah,
DNA.
man. Abs- Absolutely. But I guess to point it out to you, my grandmother was from a place in Cuba called Holguin, and she was a cigar roller. And my dad and I, once reached a certain age, 18, 20, my dad and I were very, very close, and we would smoke cigars on occasion, and that's where the bonding happened between me and my dad. It's just awesome to smoke with your father.
Yeah.
And I made a friend over at Davidoff of Geneva in New York City named Robert Sacy, who introduced me to everything Davidoff, and I became a Davidoff fanatic. And he introduced me to the Graycliff line once they carried it, and that's how I fell in love with Graycliff at the Davidoff store.
Wow. Yeah, I was reading a little bit on your website about the Great Cliff, the boss of the block, um, and it was interesting because now it makes a little more sense because in here somewhere, and I'm trying to find it, of course, um, it says right here that you are a fan of the late Avellino and the Great Cliff cigar that said the boss of the block's incredible palate is rich in Cuban tradition.
There you go.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about the Boss of the Block cigar. What the blend is like, and for those maybe obviously who haven't had it, what can they expect when they smoke that cigar?
Well, if since you read a little bit about Graycliff in I guess on my website, Graycliff comes from a Cuban tradition with Avelino Lara being at the helm. I mean, Avelino Lara was overseeing Diplomatico. He was overseeing Trinidad, and he was overseeing Laguitos, and the Cohiba.
Hmm.
So the tradition is very, very Cuban, and he came over to the Bahamas and helped Enrico Garzaroli create the Graycliff line for the family. So that's where the story begins. Hence, I meet Robert Sacy from Davidoff and introduces me to Graycliff, which at the time I couldn't afford. It's a very expensive cigar. Even 15 years ago, it was an expensive cigar. And with a
Davidoff.
regular job, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
not Davidoff, Graycliff.
Oh, Great Cliff.
Graycliff.
Okay.
Uh, Graycliff. I mean, for a regular person who's got a regular job, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
So he gave me 3 cigars, and one of them was a purple label, which I've saved till the day I met the Great Cliff family in November. So I've had it for like 15 years, this cigar hanging out in
Wow.
my humidor. Yeah, and I said one of these days I'm going to be able to afford one, and then I'm able to go. I actually flew out there to buy one. But back to the story, um, I I fell in love with the purple label, their chateau. It's just like incredible. It's chocolate, it's coffee, it's a hallucinogenic. It's a trip. This cigar is crazy.
Yeah.
So I flew out to the Bahamas last November, and I went to the Sky Room. And when I went to Sky Room, the Great Cliff Sky Room, I went to the hotel. And when I went to the hotel, I just met Enrico, which is Paulo's father, and they gave me a tour of the place. I fell in love with everything. I was able to smoke a Grand Cru that was just that was made for me right there, and I loved it so much. It was like going to Disney for me, going to a place where the cigar is made that you love so much.
Right.
I purchased 2 boxes. Long story short, the owner's son calls me the next day to have me come down and do the tour of their factory, which I did. And we drank a lot of Cuban rum, and in the midst of that conversation, I said, I think I'm at the time that I really would like to have my own cigar. And he said, let's do it. And I said, let's do what? He goes, let's create your cigar. I said, you're kidding. Are you kidding? Like, am I being punked? What's going on here? Oh, you've got a great vibe. You've got a great story. You know your cigars. You know everything about cigars. You're Cuban. You know what you're talking about. Let's do a cigar. He goes, what do you want to call it? And all this time I'm thinking it's just conversation. And he says, you want to call it Pila Kangri? I said, no. I think everybody wants to be a boss, right? Nicole, am I right? Everybody wants to be a boss. So
Absolutely.
I said, men, women, children, we all want to be bosses. I go, I think we should call it the boss of the block. Boss of the block. He goes, okay. And we shook hands, and that was it. We did it. shook hands, and 6 months later, we're at PCA. It's a great
Wow.
story.
Wow.
And I don't know if you were able to see the. I think I have it here. I don't know if you can see it online, but let me see. What is this here? Can you see that?
Yep.
The that
The
you see
band.
that?
The band.
This
Yes.
Yep.
band.
Yes.
Does it look familiar? You see, the band is me.
Oh yeah. I figured
Yeah,
that. I thought I was missing something
yeah.
else.
So yeah, and I would love to say that was my egotistical idea, but it definitely wasn't. That was all Graycliff. They have their marketing team is great. They know what they want. They created, incredible stuff, and they created that. We have four bands. That's the first one
Okay.
that we released. So yeah, so that's the short version. But could you imagine that you love something so much, or you've been holding on to the cigar for so many years, and now you're able to actually fly out there to meet the family, to purchase cigars. Not only do you walk out with the boxes that you've purchased, but you walk out with a cigar deal. Like how does that happen?
It is crazy. I mean, you like you were saying before, like you go from being like, "Oh, this is a luxury for me to buy," to, "Yeah, now they're making cigars for you." And it's got to be one of those moments where you're like, "Am I dreaming? Is this real?"
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy because it's a beautiful collaboration. They treat me like family. Um, Everything is no, what do you think? And they'll say to me, no, what do you think? So it's not like it's never one-sided. I'm in such a great place, and it's just so happy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so currently you have, so the Boss of the Block is one cigar, or do you have or like it's one blend and you have multiple sizes?
That's what it is. It's one blend, and we have multiple sizes. We have the big boss. It's 60 by 6. We have some called the Bull. It's 54 by 6. We
Mm-hmm.
have Cangri, which is named after me. It's 52 by 6. And we have El Duro, which is 50 by 5.
Interesting. So you have four sizes already, and these are officially out now. They're on sale. Um,
Yes, we sold out a PCA from all the orders.
Really?
So now we're yeah, I think after the 10th we're supposed to have more, but I think it's more after the 15th we'll have some more.
Wow.
So we're fulfilling all the orders that were made, and a lot of people have ordered, and now we're back at it again. So it's a good problem.
So are you? Maybe it's a little too, maybe a little too soon, maybe too early, but it sounds to me like you've already had some massive success with this. Are we looking at maybe
Yes.
the next boss of the block cigar, the next iteration, maybe an expansion to the brand?
Oh, I think so. Graycliff and I've been working on a lot of stuff besides cigars. Besides cigars, things that complement the cigars. So yeah, I definitely think so. There's a lot going on. It was like an incredible surprise. We were surprised, but weren't surprised. Like we knew it was going to work for some reason. I mean, Graycliff is a great cigar company. The quality control is crazy. Just the way they do everything. Once you're there, you'll see it's unbelievable. And I think their collaboration with me is something so brand new, so unexpected that people are really saying, "Hey, these guys are like doing what's happening now in 2022. They've changed the game, and but still maintaining the tradition and the quality of the cigar."
Yeah. Now, so they're in are they in Nassau, the Bahamas?
Yes,
They're in
yes, they
Nassau.
are.
And so
Yes,
the factory is, I know there's like a hotel, there's the cigar factory, and then there's a chocolate factory too, right?
yeah, they have a five-star hotel. It's called the
Yep.
Graycliff Hotel. The Graycliff Hotel. I don't know if you know this, but it's the biggest privately owned um, wine cellar in the world. Over 285,000 bottles of wine.
Wow.
One of their bottles costs $210,000. You have to
Wow.
visit and check out this wine cellar. And they have the greatest selection of Chateau Latours ever seen, like in humanity. Um, they also have the cigar factory. They've got the chocolate factory. Chocolates are awesome, and they also have a candle store, and they have a marketplace also.
Wow.
They like run like the Nassau. That's like the Great Cliff thing.
Is it
Everything is Great Cliff.
is it all together or is it all spread out?
No, it's all, well, it's all in the same vicinity,
Yeah.
within the same vicinity.
Oh,
The marketplace, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is closer to where the ships land.
Hmm.
where the ship's dock. Yeah, and they have the Sky Lounge. The Graycliff Sky Lounge is located in Margaritaville, which is down the street. It's on the rooftop. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
And they also have the airport lounge at the airport in Nassau.
Cigar lounge?
Yes.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good to know. I mean, I've been down to the
Yes.
Bahamas. I think I've been there once. I was down there probably 2005 when I was much younger. So I don't really remember it that much. And I mean, I wasn't smoking cigars at the time either. But I'm
Hmm.
definitely due to go back. And now when I do, I have plenty to see. And we need to go see Graycliff and all of the things that they have and do. Because this
I
just
got
sounds
you
like
when
a
you go.
magical time.
Oh my God, it's crazy, and the food is insane
Yeah. Yeah. I
at the
mean,
restaurant. Wow.
it sounds like one of those things that like it's a bucket list thing. Like you got to go down to the Bahamas and do Great Cliff. I mean, you got to go to here and you got to go to here and you got to go, but you have to go down to Great Cliff too. So we'll add that to the list. That's something we got to get to at some point. Very excited.
Absolutely.
And like I said, John Carney was down there early in the year, and I remember him saying like, oh, we're at Great Cliff, and he went and checked it out, and they went to the chocolates, and then he went to the cigar factory, and he checked it all out, and he said it was awesome. So, um, I definitely want to do that for myself. Now, where out? Sorry, I just wanted to check one thing. All right, so I think we're gonna hit our news segment really quickly, and then we're going to
It's
continue our conversation. But we'll give you a little bit of a
great.
break. We'll break it up a little bit. Our cigar news is once again brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. If you head over to McAuliffeCigars.com today, you can sign up to become an official ambassador. Get your official ambassador number and coin. And while you're at, head over to Facebook and check out the official McAuliffe Ambassadors Facebook group. So there was a story that we put out at the beginning of the week. Sorry, I don't know where it is. I just had it up here. Um, we put it out after Half Wheel put it out. Um, some folks had messaged me privately asking me about, is this a true story? And I have to remind everyone, I report on stuff and we write articles for our website once we have, credible sources, or if, it's already been published by another publication that, has cited credible sources. So we don't just post stuff to post stuff. So what I wrote is true. It's from real information. I'm not really going to get into it 100%, but I will lightly glaze over it and bring people aware to this situation. Um, there has been talk from some credible sources, according to Half Wheel, who originally reported on this, that there is the potential for a Nicaraguan ban on imports, which obviously it sounds scary, and it is. There's no word on how serious this is or what the status of this is or what's going into this. There have been some political indifferences between the United States and Nicaragua and other countries around the world, which is obviously what has led to this. But from a cigar standpoint, obviously this is an alarming statement because you hear that and you think like, oh no, what does that mean for cigars? It means several different things. It could be no Nicaraguan tobacco and cigars could be imported if this actually ends up going all the way to the extreme, which, as many people can imagine, would be very scary. There could just be this could be going through at maybe a lower level, maybe a high tariff on tobacco, coffee, and other imports from Nicaragua, which causes the price of cigars to go up through the roof because it's not just the cigars that are coming in from Nicaragua, it's the other countries that make cigars using Nicaraguan tobacco that now pay a higher tariff on those products. So there's multiple ways this or nothing could happen at all. But there is a real concern that there could be some kind of political thing here where the Nicaraguan tobacco and cigars could be a casualty or a partial casualty. And it is a developing story. This is something that's not really new news, but it's out there, and I just we wanted to share that. Obviously, it's been in the news in the cigar industry, so wanted to touch on that and just bring awareness to people to be like, hey, just so you guys know, you can read more about it at smokintabacco.com, where there's a little bit more information. Like I said, I'm not going to really dissect the whole thing right here. Maybe we'll talk about it on Spare Notes this weekend with William Cooper, but yeah, just I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was pretty
And
important.
not a lot of people are talking about it. I think that's
I think there's I
or talking publicly, I should say, about it.
I think there's a lot of people who may be close to this situation who they don't want to speculate or they don't want to comment because they're not sure. People who maybe are unsure of, maybe taking a side or stand. I don't know, but there is. It's not new. It's not completely new news. It's been around, but I definitely there's not a lot of people talking about it publicly, but it's something I felt that's people should be at least aware of that it exists as a possibility. So like I said, it's a developing story, and as that changes, and if it does, obviously we will bring you updates and new information on that. But something to keep an eye on for sure. Like I said, whether it's a full-blown ban, or we could be talking at maybe tariffs or higher
Might be
taxes.
worth on stocking up on your favorite Nicaraguan cigars,
It's true too.
just in case.
It's true. You never know. If you like stuff that's from Nicaragua, you might want to buy it now. Who knows? So anyway, that is our news for the week, brought to you by Graycliff Cigars. So I asked you before the show about your name because I was like, oh wow, that's very unique, very different, obviously. That's not your actual name, though. This is your DJ name or your stage name, so to speak,
Right.
as you had mentioned before. But you did offer up that part of it was a shortened form of a nickname, and that there's a little more of a story there. So tell us the story around Pila Kangri and what all of that means.
So when I started DJing, I was the only girl in the crew, like always, and the guys were trying to come up with a DJ name. So there were two names. It was either Paradise or Magic. So they called me Paradise. We stuck with Paradise. So I was DJ Paradise growing up. And then all my friends kept calling me P. Nobody would call me Paradise. So we shortened Paradise to P. And when I started recording and doing urban music, the producer that I was working with, we had done a reggaeton song. And once I was done with the song, he was like in awe that it came out the way that it came out. And he goes, "You're La Cangri." And I was like, "What is that?" He goes, "La Cangri is congresswoman, game changer, person in charge, the best of the best." He goes, "You are La Cangri, so you should call yourself Pila Kangri." So I stuck with that, with Pila Kangri.
Wow.
And that's where the name came from. Yeah.
Okay.
So Kangri means, big boss, the best.
And which makes sense, boss of the block too. So yeah, everyone wants to be the boss. Apparently, you are the boss now. That's what they call you.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's really cool. That's special. And it's fun because we don't have a lot of people like yourself on the show. But obviously there's a lot of them out there, and you always wonder like where they get that name from. Like how did they come up with that? Did someone give it to them? Like I remember reading a story. I don't know how accurate it is, but like for example, like Post Malone, right? I read, and I don't know if this is true. Post Malone got his name after putting his name into like a rap name generator, and it spit out Post Malone because I think his name is Austin Malone, so it was like Post Malone. He was like, that's it, and that's just what he went with, and that became his rapper name. And so it's just funny to like hear these stories like of where people get their name from. That's a cool story. I really like that one, and it's a little bit of a flex. I'm not gonna lie. It's it's like it means boss. I'm in charge.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's cool that someone else gave it to me. Like,
Right.
It wasn't like I named myself. Oh, I am the boss. It's a true story. So it's kind of cool that someone else gave it to me. That they saw. I guess they saw it before I saw it, which is dope.
That is cool. Well, why don't we do our top 3 segment because it's kind of on theme, and I'm excited to hit that. So our top 3 segment, once again, is brought to you by Room 101 Cigars.
Watch the Smokin Tabacco show. Eat your vegetables. Take your vitamins. Smoke Room 101.
Words of wisdom from our friend Matt Booth.
Words of wisdom. So I tried to make these, a little bit more personable. depending on the guest, based on other parts of their background or whatever. So, music related, DJ related, 3 places in the entire world, or it could be. Maybe I'll make it a little bit broader. It could be a venue. It could be like a specific event or a party. But 3 places like all time that you would love to DJ an event at.
That's easy. You ready?
Okay, here we go.
First, okay, choice number three, Ibiza. Choice number two, Ibiza. Choice number one, Ibiza.
Wow.
That's it.
So is that like considered the holy grail? Like when you DJ or you perform an event there, like you've made it. Like that's the place.
I could just just walk away. That's it. I'm done. I am done. And I was heading there right before COVID. COVID has a changed plans for a lot of people.
Right.
But yeah, but it'll happen. Yeah, Ibiza is like, wow. Ibiza, yeah, Ibiza. I mean, I could have said Tomorrowland too, but Ibiza is like outside and there's beach and it's just the vibes. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's yeah,
It's like paradise.
It's the place to go.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's the place to go. Like the Bahamas. I
Um,
mean, that's another beautiful place. I mean, Ibiza is obviously different, but I mean,
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, so
yeah.
do you perform around the country at all too, or is it really just you're in those 2 places most of the time?
No, I do. I perform all over the country. Wherever someone needs me, I'll fly out to perform. I don't do I do clubs, I'll do special events, or sometimes I get clients that come to the club
Hmm.
and they want to hire me for their birthday because they want their birthday to be like a club. Like not so much like a traditional birthday party. They want the vibes to be more like a like that club vibe. So I'll
Right.
do that. Like I'm not like a wedding DJ or anything like that, unless someone's getting married. Like I have one client that's getting married. He's having a wedding DJ, but he's hired me to come in like after dinner for an hour and just knock it out the park and get everybody up and dancing and
Oh, well,
stuff.
there you
But
go.
yeah, yeah. So I do. I fly everywhere to DJ. It doesn't matter where it's at.
Uh,
So
So at what age did you really start like consistently performing like in clubs, like for money, like all like on a regular basis?
I started in college, but then I stopped because I got a record deal and I started touring with a band.
Oh,
And I
okay.
didn't think, yeah, and I didn't think that I can do both. I mean, I just somehow, I don't know why, it's just dumb that I didn't think that I can do both, that I could sing, rap, and DJ. So a few years ago, I hired a different manager, and I have two successful radio shows. I'm on 103.7 The Beat out of Chicago, and El Bloque Radio.com out of Miami. And I did my radio show. My manager called me, say, "Hey, the radio show is awesome. Who did the mixes?" And I didn't say anything. And he's like, "Did you mix the show?" I said, "I did." He says, "So you are like a real DJ?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Why didn't you tell me?" I said, "I just didn't want to take away from singing." He goes, "No, fool, you're adding to it." He goes, "You're DJing, that means you can play your own songs. Your whole look means that people are gonna drive to you, and those people will follow you on all your digital platforms." So the next day he booked me at a club. It
Wow.
was a Tuesday. I said, "Where am I playing?" He said, "At a club." I said, "In front of people?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What, are you crazy?" He goes, "You're playing and you're getting paid." So we went out to this club on a Tuesday and I played and I knocked it out. And I was there for like 3 weeks and they paid me minimal. I think it was like a buck 50. I played for like 2 hours, 150 for like 2 hours.
Wow.
And then someone saw me there on the third week and they hired me in Manhattan. And all of a sudden it was like $400 for an hour. I said, "Wait, I'm liking this. I'm liking this very much. Very much." So I played at that club for a few weeks, and then from there it went into the thousands. It was like it was overnight, but it wasn't overnight type of thing.
Right.
And what happened was the DJs that weren't playing my songs because music is political like everything else. DJs want to play what's popular. They don't break records anymore. They're afraid to play something new, maybe because I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the reason is, but the DJs that weren't playing my stuff because now I'm in their playground and it's all guys. Now they're playing my music. Like my manager said it would happen. So it's a great thing that I'm DJing at all these venues. And the other thing I get to give back when someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm a singer, I'm a rapper," can you play my song? I don't blow them off. I say, let me hear it. If I like it, I'll play it, and I play it. If I like it, I'll play it. I don't blow off anybody because that person you blow off can be the next me. You don't know who that person's going to be,
That's true.
and I think it's awful. I mean, it hurts my feelings when the DJ blows off an artist. It doesn't matter how bad they are. You know, I mean, taste is relevant, right? You could like a cigar, maybe Nicole, maybe he doesn't like it. Doesn't mean it's a bad cigar. It means you both have two different palates. It's the same thing with music. Music is up to to the audience. The audience might like something brand new, and if you're a brave enough DJ and you believe in something, if I believe in something, I'll play it. I don't care. So, being a DJ has helped my singing career immensely, immensely. It's a beautiful thing when you're able to do what you do and help somebody else because you see the flaws in the system.
You understand it. You've been there yourself, and then from those experiences, you can share that with somebody else, or give someone else the maybe the opportunity that someone didn't give you once upon a time when you were like, hey, I'm trying to break on the scene, and like, get out of here, kid. Like, no one wants to hear you, and it's like. And then, now it's your turn, and someone goes, "Hey, like, will you play my track?" And you're like, "Well, I remember when someone blew me off. Like, I'm not gonna do that to you because I know how it feels. Like, yeah, I'll give you a shot."
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. There's a respect there, and it's the love and the respect of the game. And like you said,
Right.
it's not specific to just music. It could be cigars. It could be anything. It's, the
It definitely could be anything. The biggest shock of my life was DJing together with a DJ that would never play my stuff. And as I'm in the club with him, he's playing my stuff.
wow.
What do? You just laugh. You're like, all right. You're like, it took me to come into your circle for you to play my music. Whatever. Thank you. I don't know what to say, but it's cool. I love my life, so there's no complaints.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like you're having a hell of a time.
Oh, I
Um,
am.
do you I now let me ask you a question. So when you're DJing an event, right? Do you smoke while you DJ, or is it kind of take away from the cigar experience, or is it kind of a more of a distraction while you're trying to do that? Or is smoking really like for your set's over, you're done, now I can sit down and relax and have my cigar and my scotch, and I can just relax now because now my job is done. Now it's leisure time.
Uh, if it's a great night, which it usually is, and I'm feeling like the boss, I'll smoke while I'm DJing.
Yeah, there you go.
How cool is it to walk into a club and see a chick smoking a cigar while she's DJing? Come on,
That's pretty
that's like
badass.
the cool. That's pretty badass. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely have smoked when I'm DJing. 100%. I think
Yeah.
it's cool.
Now
Super cool.
you
And
mentioned
we have a rooftop also where I DJ.
yeah.
So it's great to DJ up there because I'm able to smoke because
Oh,
it's the
absolutely.
rooftop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned before that you like you drink a lot of scotch. I assume that's probably your go-to. What
Yes.
what do you drink for scotch out of curiosity?
Johnny Walker Blue.
Johnny Walker Blue. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
She's got taste. She's got taste. Okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit of taste. And 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 I also like, I don't know if this is weird, but I love champagne with cigars. Is that crazy?
No, I love champagne with cigars.
Yeah,
So
Nicole drinks a lot of champagne.
Oh,
yeah.
Nicole.
Yeah.
So, okay, when you come to New York, I got you with the champagne. I love champagne with cigars. That must be like a girly thing, maybe. I don't know.
I just think the flavor goes well together. There's
It does, but
like,
most people look at
yeah.
me weird when I say that.
No, I actually see a lot of females drinking champagne with cigars.
It's a good
Okay.
pairing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
think
would
it
say
is.
with the right pairing. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I like champagne with cigars. I also like a great prosecco with cigars. I don't like a flavored like a rosé. I like, straight, like a champagne and straight prosecco. Like not a rosé or anything like that. But yeah, I do. So yeah, Blue Label is my number one thing. And if I can get my hands on some great Cuban rum, which in the Bahamas they have, Graycliff has a great collection of great Cuban rums. I mean,
Mm,
there's nothing like having like Cuban rum with cigars.
yeah. I was just gonna say to you too. I mean, being Cuban, I mean, you have to be a rum drinker too. I would
Yeah.
assume, but and it sounds like that is the
Yes.
case.
Yes.
Are you a dark rum, white rum, spiced rum? Where do
Dark
you
rum.
dark rum?
I like dark rum.
Yeah, dark rum's good.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I
so
like dark rum.
it's so funny because I just started kind of getting into rums. I mean, I've been really into whiskey. I started getting into tequila a little bit last year. This year has been me starting to kind of explore rums now, and I was drinking a lot of kind of. I not any of the usual ones like Zacapa or Flor de Caña. But recently, I actually started to really start to drink through some of those, and I've really found some good gems. Um, and I've been really enjoying the rum game. It's been a nice change from the whiskey game. It's a
Zacapa is really good rum.
Zacapa, yeah. So I was actually in Tampa with John, my friend John Carney, and we were with Cynthia Fuente, and we were at Grand Cathedral, and and she was like, "Hey, what do you want to drink?" And I was like, "I'm feeling rum tonight." And she's like, "Ooh, which rum do you want to drink?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just started getting into rums." And so I looked at my friend John, and he was like, "Oh, you have to try Zacapa 23." And I was like,
Oh wow,
never had it.
spoiled.
And I was like, okay, I don't know. I didn't know if it was like fancy or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. And so Cynthia was like, we'll take two of those, make them double. And I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. So it came and I sipped it and I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this is
Yeah,
great.
it is.
I'm like, this is
It
great rum.
is.
I've been drinking the wrong shit.
Oh, you've
Yeah,
been drinking the
Zacapa.
Havana Club too.
No, I haven't actually. I haven't
Ah.
cracked open the Havana Club yet.
Ah.
What
I
is
thought
it?
you did.
Havana Club American or Cuban?
Cuban.
Cuban.
So
Oh,
Nicole
thank
went.
God.
Nicole went
No.
over.
Thank
Nicole,
God.
Nicole went over to England because Nicole actually lived in England for several years growing
Yep.
up, and
Okay.
because her mother and her family are over there, so she went over there early this year to visit, and of course she had to come back with
The Cuban goodies that I could get.
with goodies. So she came back with
Yes,
some
yes.
cigars, and she came back with a bunch of Cadbury chocolate because that's my favorite, and of course she came back with two bottles of Havana Club, the Seven Años, and I can't remember.
Selecciones.
I think
Selecciones.
Yeah.
yes. So I got a bottle of each of those, and I you know what, and I put them in my little cellar where I keep all my bottles of stuff, and I actually forgot about it, and but I do have them, and I should open those soon.
See, I thought you opened them.
No, I
That's my
didn't
bad.
open them yet. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, those are pretty good on the seven años and the selecciones. Um, Cuba has these rums that are made by Casa Havana Club, which is like the umbrella.
Right.
They've got these rums that they don't sell in any other countries. Those are the great rums. They've got something called Ritual that costs about $7.90. That tastes like $100 bottle of rum. They've got another one called Santiago. They've got Santiago Añejo. They've got these incredible. Zacapa reminds me a lot of Cuban rum. So if
Okay.
you like Zacapa, you're gonna love everything Cuban. Havana Club's a great place to start, and those are really two good rums. They really are. Good going, Nicole. Those are great rums that you brought back.
Gotta shop.
Yeah, she
When I-
picked
Yeah,
she picked it
man.
out, so I give her the credit.
Yeah, man.
She came back with this suitcase that was like 100 pounds. I'm like, what's in there? She's like, I brought stuff back, and I open it up, and there's two bottles of Cuban rum. There's an Ireland only bottle of Jameson whiskey. I
Wow.
think it
Okay.
was the Jameson. Is it the Jameson Stout? Something.
I think so.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's something with stout in it. And I remember looking at and she was like, "Yeah, my mom got this for us." And on the back it was like for UK only or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then she came back with a homemade bottle of whiskey that her cousin
Oh
made.
wow.
So I'm
In
like,
England, yeah.
"That's different." So yeah, she came back with a bunch of bottles of stuff, and it was cool. It was
I
really
want
cool.
some of that.
Right?
The homemade
The
stuff.
whole,
Yeah.
yeah. It's strong, but no, my nana who lives over in England, she actually makes champagne, so she'll make her own champagne. Um, and my cousin, he toys with like gin, whiskey, different things. So
That's a fun place to be. I want to go visit
they know how to party.
their home. Oh my God.
Well,
Wow.
they're Irish, who have since moved over to England, so they know how to drink. So,
They do.
and Nicole certainly does too. Don't let Nicole fool you. I mean, she can put some pretty strong whiskey away. I mean, I'll tell you, there's some whiskeys that she drinks that even I wouldn't touch, and it's like her dad says, she gets that from her mom's side
Oh
of the
wow.
family. They're Irish, That's what they do. So it's
So,
fun because
so
I have a really great drinking buddy.
that's what's up. So either at PCA next year or at the Bahamas, we've got to get our drink on.
Mm, absolutely.
Hopefully, it's the Bahamas
The
first.
Bahamas would be
Yeah,
fun. We need it.
yeah, man.
We spend so much time traveling for cigar stuff that we need to go on a non-cigar related trip soon. That's so the Bahamas might suffice because we can stop by Graycliff, do a little bit of cigar stuff, but for the most part it'll be a non-cigar trip. So
You're
that'll
gonna
be
go to Great Cliff and never leave. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
uh
Guaranteed.
I'm excited. So one of the last things I wanted to ask you about while you were on the show as we get towards the end of the show, I
Sure.
wanted to kind of circle back to Sisters of the Leaf, right? So, as we were talking a little bit about before, you're a Sister of the Leaf. You obviously you have your own cigar now, and you're in the industry, and you've been to the trade show, and now you're in the rat race, right? So, um, first of all, I mean, we talked about like obviously how amazing it felt for you to have a cigar made and to be on that that initial reaction, right? But now that you're kind of on this ride and this journey, and you're beginning to build your own story in the cigar industry. What are some of the things that you know about the industry, right? The cigar industry, that maybe you'd like to see change in terms of other Sisters of the Leaf, and maybe whether it's people being more accepting of more women, or just having women be a little bit more expansive in the things that they try to do. Just like what are like things that you see from your point of view. I know you guys kind of talked a little bit about this at the roundtable meeting.
Hmm.
Maybe you could bring like a little bit of what you talked about there to the show tonight while you're here.
You know, I think if you recall at the round table, what I said was that I really haven't had, I don't want to say negative, but I haven't had any obstacles. It's been like just like Zoom. I don't know if it's because it's the vibes or whatever it is. I haven't had like I haven't seen anything that will require me to want to want change. What I do think is that now is an opportune time for women to take hold and just to jump in and get it done. I think everything is open. It's we're in 2022. People are open to everything. A lot of the women that I met at Sisters of the Leaf, man, they own their own farms. One of them has a plane. Like they're really doing things. You know what I mean? They're like a big deal. You know, like I talk to everybody about that. I think that these, if anything, that I would change is to bring more awareness to these women and their existence. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's not enough awareness um, about these women. When I talk to other people about these women, whether it's people in the music industry or people that I just meet, when I talk to them about Quesada, when I talk to them about Reyes, when I talk to them about all these women, they're like, well, who are they? I think it just there has to be more awareness that they exist, that they're here, that they're vibrant, that they're players, and that they're bosses. And I think that's what I would change is somehow to be able to bring more awareness to who they are.
Yeah, it's definitely it's something that I think it's slowly happening. I feel like and being in the media, it's kind of what we do. We kind of just we watch and observe and see, and we're not in factories and focus on that side. We're looking at everything on the surface. So like I see a lot of things change. I see like the trends and whatnot, and I feel like especially with the pandemic, the cigar industry before that was still kind of very old school. With the pandemic, we saw the rise of a lot more technology, a lot more online stuff, a lot more media, a lot more virtual events, shows, and stuff like that. And I feel like it's getting more people connected. And
Hmm.
I think that as that continues to evolve for the cigar industry, I think you're slowly starting, and especially like through avenues like us, like with the media, you're slowly starting to see women being highlighted more and more. I mean, some of the women at that meeting, you had, Leo from Nova, you had Karen Berger, you had,
Yes.
Amanda McAuliffe was there. You mentioned, the Reyes were there.
The
Um,
drunk chicken, right? Drunk
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 chicken.
Chicken,
chicken. Yep.
Desiree was there. You're right,
Yeah.
and they're all like they're bosses. They're women. They own their own companies, factories.
They're
Um,
bosses. They're like big bosses.
yeah, they're not like low-ranking people on the totem pole. They're all people that run these businesses too. So,
No,
and you're starting to see more and more of them highlighted in the media, and have their stories being told, and like who this person is and what they do, and and the fact that they are a woman, and they've made they're slowly making their voice known in this what was always really a very male
the Boys
dominated
Club.
industry. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
no, and it's nice. And now, you come onto the scene, and there's another sister of the Leaf that's, there's another woman in charge. There's another woman with a brand who's on the scene. And I know that, you're still new to it, but that you got nothing but time. You just keep on doing your thing, and you'll, make your story known and keep selling your cigars. And, I think that, it's awesome to have more women around. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
someone
For
said to me,
sure.
and it's funny. Someone said to me recently, "Hey, you don't usually have a lot of women on your show," and I said, "Well, we try to. I'm
Hmm.
always open to it. I have there's no like anytime there's a woman who's available, like yes, come on the show. We try to. The fact of the matter is there's obviously there's like a ratio. There's not as many of them as there are the men in the industry, and there's a lot of
Of
there's a lot of
course,
people
yeah.
that come on the show. So we try anytime I have the opportunity to have a woman on the show, I love to have the opportunity. And of course, we're so happy that you were able to come on with us tonight. It was very special.
Thank you
So
for having me. Yeah, I
absolutely.
was super happy when you reached out to me. I was like, wow, he noticed. We've been getting a lot of really good press and a lot of stuff, but it was really exciting. I've seen who you've had on before, and it's an honor to be here with you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We thank you for the time. We thank you for coming on and talking about Graycliff and about your cigars. I definitely learned some things about Graycliff too that I didn't know before, and just really excited to try the Boss of the Block. I mean, I'm excited now. I got to try these cigars. And like I
Yeah,
said, we
man.
we didn't get to meet up with you at the trade show, unfortunately. But next year for sure, we're gonna see you at the trade show. We're very excited.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and DM me with the address so I can send you those cigars in a few weeks. I got
Abs-
you.
Absolutely. Well, stay with us really quick while we end the show, and we'll talk to you off the air really
No
quick.
problem.
So, guys, thank you for watching with us. Once again, thank you to Pila Kangri for coming on the show. Check out her
Thank
cigars,
you.
Boss of the Block from Graycliff Cigars. And while you're at it, head over to smokintabacco.com for more news and updates from the cigar industry. And don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and everywhere you can find your podcasts.
And this weekend we have.
Oh, that's right. How
Yeah.
could I forget?
You gotta.
Oh, how could I forget? How could I
Gotta
forget?
plug it.
Oh my God, thank you. I almost ran the show without that. So, big news. We will be doing the KMA takeover this weekend. Smoking Tobacco will be taking over KMA. That's right, Kiss My Ash Radio. Big Abe DeBabna, Big Delicious, sitting this one out. It's going to be Nicole and I. Jonathan Carney will be there as Smoking Tobacco. As for guests, we will have not one, not two, but three guests on that takeover. Lito Gomez Sr., Lito Gomez
Oh, wow.
Jr., and Tony Gomez. So the Gomez
Trifecta.
trifecta. All three of them are all going to be together on KMA with us for our takeover Saturday morning at 10 a.m. You guys know where to go. You guys know KMA. We will be there. We will be pulling the strings for the most part. Paul will be there too, and I think Alex will be there in the background. But for the most part, it's our show this week. So don't forget to check that out. I'm so glad. I almost ran right through that. I forgot. I can't believe that. But yeah, no, absolutely. Check that out. And then, of course, Saturday night at 9 p.m., it's another edition of Spare Notes with me and William Cooper. So we have a lot of things to cover on Saturday night. It's going to be a long Saturday of shows and broadcasts, but we're going to get through it. So don't forget to check that out this Saturday. And with that, we'll see you on KMA. Take care, guys.
Bye, everyone.